The Indian Contract Act 1872, Clause A. When one person signifies to another his willingness to do or abstain from doing anything with a view to obtaining the assent of that other to such act or abstinence, he is said to make a proposal. B. When the person to whom the proposal is made signifies his assent thereto, the proposal is said to be accepted. A proposal, when accepted, becomes a promise. C. The person making the proposal is called the promiser, and the person accepting the proposal is called the promisee. D. When at the desire of the promiser, the promisee or any other person has done or abstained from doing, or does or abstains from doing, or promises to do or abstain from doing something, such act or abstinence or promise is called a consideration for the promise. Every promise and every set of promises forming the consideration for each other is an agreement. F. Promises which form the consideration or part of the consideration for each other are called reciprocal promises. G. An agreement not enforceable by law is said to be void. H. An agreement enforceable by law is contract. I. An agreement which is enforceable by law at the option of one or more of the parties thereto, but not at the option of the other or others, is a voidable contract. J. A contract which ceases to be enforceable by law becomes void when it ceases to be enforceable. Chapter 1 of the Communication, Acceptance and Revocation of Proposal. Section 3, Communication, Acceptance and Revocation of Proposals. The communication of proposals, the acceptance of proposal, and the revocation of proposals and acceptances, respectively, are deemed to be made by any act or omission of the party proposing, accepting, or revoking, by which he intends to communicate such proposal, acceptance, or revocation, or which has the effect of communicating. Section 4th, Communication when complete. The communication of proposal is complete when it comes to the knowledge of the person to whom it is made. The communication of an acceptance is complete as against the proposer when it is put in course of transmission to him so as to be out of the power of the acceptor, as against the acceptor when it comes to the knowledge of the proposer. The communication of revocation is complete as against the person who makes it when it is put into course of transmission to the person to whom it is made so as to be out of the power of the person who makes it, as against the person to whom it is made when it comes to his knowledge. Illustration. A proposes by letter to sell a house to B at a certain price. The communication of proposal is complete when B receives the letter. B accepts A's proposal by letter sent by post. The communication of acceptance is complete as against A when the letter is post, and as against B when the letter is received by A. C. A revokes his proposal by telegram. The revocation of complete as against A when the telegram is dispatched. It is complete as against B when B receives it. B revokes his acceptance by telegram. B's revocation is complete as against B when the telegram is dispatched, and as against A when it reaches him. Section 5, Revocation of proposal and acceptances. A proposal may be revoked at any time before the communication of its acceptance is complete as against the proposer but not afterwards. An acceptance may be revoked at any time before the communication of acceptance is complete as against the acceptor but not afterwards. Illustration: A proposes by a letter sent by post to sell his house to B. B accepts the proposal by letter sent by post. A may revoke his proposal at any time before or at the moment when B posts his letter of acceptance but not afterwards. B may revoke his acceptance at any time before or at the moment when the letter communicating it reaches A but not afterwards. Section 6. Revocation how made. A proposal is revoked first by the communication of notice of revocation by the proposer to the other party. Second, by a proposal is revoked by the lapse of the time prescribed in such proposal for its acceptance, or if no time is so prescribed, by the lapse of a reasonable time without communication of the acceptance. Third, a proposal is revoked by the failure of the acceptor to fulfill a condition precedent to acceptance. Or fourth, a proposal is revoked by the death or insanity of the proposer if the fact of his death or insanity comes to the knowledge of the acceptor before acceptance. Section 7. Acceptance must be absolute. In order to convert a proposal into promise, the acceptance must be absolute and unqualified. Second, in order to convert a proposal into promise, the acceptance must be expressed in some usual reasonable manner unless the proposal prescribes the manner in which it is to be accepted. If the proposal prescribes a manner in which it is to be accepted and the acceptance is not made in such manner, the proposer may, within a reasonable time after the acceptance is communicated to him, insist that his proposal shall be accepted in the prescribed manner and not otherwise. But if he fails to do so, he accepts the acceptance. Section 8. Acceptance by performing conditions. Section 8. Acceptance by performing condition or receiving consideration. Okay. Performance of the conditions of a proposal or the acceptance of any consideration for a reciprocal promise which may be offered with a proposal is an acceptance of the proposal. 9. Promises express and implied. In so far as the proposal or acceptance of any promise is made in words, the promise is said to be express. In so far as such proposal or acceptance is made otherwise than in words, the promise is said to be implied.